Hollywood doesn't need actors anymore, not the way it used to. And I don't mean that in a doom and gloom type of way. I mean that in a way of like, you need to understand this so you can respond correctly. Because the flip side is, and nobody talks about this might actually be the best time in history to be an actor. And if you hear me say that, you're probably like, oh, but the industry's crashing and all the doom and gloom. I'm going to tell you why that is. Let's start with a number. And when you hear this number, you might not actually believe me. 6,000. And 6,000 is how many submissions sometimes they get for a co-star on a TV show. Co-star is literally could be just one line, 2 lines. It's someone that's on screen for a couple seconds usually, unless they're recurring. That's it. And that's 6,000 submissions for that small role. Those 6,000, how many get called in? It depends on the casting director. When I was a talent manager for 10 years, it could be anywhere from 20 to nowadays with self-tapes 80 or something, but definitely not more than that. It's the numbers is always pretty much under 100, and depending on the casting director, it would be a lower number. So if your entire strategy for your career is built on auditions and basically first lucky enough to get these auditions, which is already a small percentage in terms of submissions and how many they get, but then you also have to book that, and that's, 1 out of those 80 or 1 out of those 20, and that's if they're actually casting it off the auditions and they don't have it out to some name actor, which also does happen a lot, where they have it out to someone already and they're almost like casting for backups. And it is getting harder in a lot of ways. Studios are making less movies than before. Their mid-level budgets movies of 20 million to 40 million, those have almost disappeared. There's so few of those. And then there's super tiny indie budgets where you're not making any money basically, and where you hope that it goes to a good festival or something that helps your career, but 9 times out of 10, those indie films don't do anything, especially because you don't know what you're signing up for. You don't know what happens. You don't know how it's edited. You don't know anything until it comes out. So that's a big lottery that you're playing here. Now, I'm not telling you all this to stop auditioning. You should keep auditioning, keep doing that, but you should add something else, another route that's in your control. For 70 years, the standard way of doing things was get an agent, get auditions, get a film or TV show, get into a studio, grow your career that way. That is the step-by-step way of doing it. That used to be the way of doing it. And even now, and I know this because I know a lot of the people, the agents and managers in this industry, still a lot of them that still think that's the way to do it. Now, there is a bigger percentage starting to grow that know you need extra stuff. You need to create your own content. You need to produce your own films. You need to do more than that to be noticed. But still a large percentage that still think this followed by the book type of rule following is going to get you there. That is just not the case. And 2 things happen. One, I've talked about, opportunities became less films, less TV shows. Even nowadays, you have bigger actors going to do TV, a lot of TV shows. And TV used to be really for working class actors at the time because all the stars would stick with films. Not anymore. So now you got competition everywhere. Second, what happened is technology. It used to be that you would need a huge studio budget, stage, whatever, to make a film. Now, with a phone, computer, you can make a film for almost nothing, for very little. And that second point is the one that's important for you. It's the way that you can avoid all this gatekeeping and get around that gate, as it were. And you can find out a way to make your own content and get noticed that way, instead of doing the traditional just waiting for the right audition, or God forbid you're doing the networking thing where you're just going to bars or whatever hoping to be discovered. That's not going to work. So this is the way now, especially with the technology available now, to make it happen. And let me give you 3 examples from the past few years to really illustrate this point so that you know that this is possible for you. So Aubrey Plaza, one of the most recognizable comedic actresses of her generation, very talented, but she struggled for a while to get seen as a dramatic actor. And this is a struggle a lot of actors have, and when they're seen as one thing, very hard for them to do the other thing sometimes. And she wanted to do drama and dramatic roles. And so she actually ended up producing Emily the Criminal. So she read the script and she was there from the beginning, making it happen, helping getting it financed, and basically, obviously with it, she got herself a team as well, but she did was there from the beginning because she knew which direction she wanted to take her career, and to make that happen, she had to do it herself. And that film, premiered at Sundance, got distributed, Independent Spirit Awards, all that type of stuff, and basically opened up her career. And she said afterwards that it taught her something very important, and that was that she needed to show up for her own life. So she didn't wait to be cast in something great, she created a great role for herself. And there's Baron Ryan, a couple million followers. Him and his partner basically created a film called Two Sleepy People on 100K, no real marketing budget, no real budget for anyone. And they made this movie that basically opened in 1,000 theaters, which is amazing. That's a lot of people saw it, got a lot of buzz, a lot of people heard about it. They did that on just based on the community that they had for this film, and that's amazing. No one in the filmmaking world, no one would have heard of this guy if it wasn't for this 100K film that he made. That's going to help his career for sure. And of course, there's Markiplier with Iron Lung, 38 million subscribers, $3 million budget. Made 52 or whatever it was. It made a lot. And basically because of his audience again, because initially that movie was supposed to open in 60 theaters. And then by the time opening day came around, because of his basically super fans who all petitioned to have more theaters in their local theaters, it ended up opening wide at 4,000 plus. 3 completely different budgets and 3 completely different audiences. But the one thing that they all had in common is that they all stopped waiting for basically Hollywood to give them an opportunity. And then now once they've built it, of course now Hollywood's paying attention and people are paying attention, but they created that. So what does this mean if you're not Aubrey Plaza or you don't have 1 million followers or $3 million lying around? Well, that's a good question, and here's the honest answer. The mechanism scales. The budget doesn't matter as much as you think it does. You don't need a distributor. You can even start, let's say you're an actor, you can start with a short film. Start with a short film, 2 people in a room, write something that is the type of character that you know you're going to be good at, that you want to play, and make that. Instead of just some random clip, now this is part of your reel and this is what you show people, and you show that you made this. Now they know that you not only did you make this and put yourself in a position that you're really good at, it also shows initiative, which people now, especially that's minority or that smaller percentage of managers and agents that I'm talking about, they want initiative because they know how hard Hollywood is right now. So they want people that are trying to find their way around the gate. And you don't even need to find a script. You can do that, of course. Like the Blacklist, many unproduced scripts on there. So it's definitely a possibility for a feature film as well. And we've done that. But you don't even need to do that. You could also get a writer that's early on in their career that you team up with, that you build an early collaboration with. And that's something that a lot of people have done throughout basically time in the industry. Think recently of the Oscar winner, Michael B. Jordan. He's been working with Ryan Coogler since they made Fruitvale Station. That was, I think, a 900K budget. And they started working together then when they're basically fairly unknown. At least Ryan Coogler was very unknown at the time. I think Michael B. Jordan was pretty unknown still as well. And then now they've built this humongous career together and they've worked on everything together. And again, you don't have to have the audience before you start filming or until you have to build the audience first and then make the movie. You can do this while you're building. You can start the process of getting a writer or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Let's say you're trying to get a writer. You can start documenting that. Start talking about how you're getting a writer. What's your process on that? What are you looking for? Maybe you'll even find your writer like that on social media. That's actually a good way to get a writer as well. You can literally make a video saying you're looking for a writer, this is your idea, and this is your plan with it. If you have a plan, people can see you're driven and the steps to get there. There's a lot of people that want to follow that and get on board. And then as you're building your audience, then if let's say this takes a year and a half, however long it takes, you're building this audience that when you do release and you have your film, if all these people that have been following your journey and they're super passionate about you and what you've been building, that they're going to go see that. They're going to rent that. That's a built-in audience. And here's the thing about auditioning that took me years to understand, that even as a talent manager, it is not always the most talented actors that book the job. A lot of times it's the person that's the easiest to say yes with. And there's a lot of ways to do that, even in auditions. It's making sure that you're playing the character that they want to see, and that could be looks wise. Obviously make your own choices, but it can mean looks wise, making it easy for them to picture you as the role. That's one. So that's a principle that goes throughout this. It's make yourself easy to say yes to. If you're someone that has momentum and has forward progress, which is what happens when you're building and you're making your own stuff, other people start noticing. Even people that are auditioning, casting directors, you just never know it, but they see a person making progress. In human psychology, it's normal for us to want to jump on board with a train that's moving, something that's moving forward in a good direction, a positive direction. People want to jump on board with that. So it can help you in not just in your own project, but it can help you with all these other things that you're doing, including auditioning, because it builds forward momentum, it builds positive momentum. And guess what? Another way it makes your auditioning easier and better is you're coming in less desperate. It's not just my only chance to act. You're coming in like, I'm already working on this. I'm going to make this happen already. And this is another avenue that I am using, which is auditioning. I'm going to come in way less desperate. And that energy is really important. And it's hard to fake that. If that's all you have, and if all you have is auditioning and you need this job, and then someone says, well, it's important to not act desperate, it doesn't matter. You are desperate. So pretending to not be desperate doesn't make you not desperate. So actually finding something that doesn't make you desperate, like creating your own lane in that way, will help your audition a lot. Hollywood doesn't discover actors anymore. I really want to repeat that. Hollywood doesn't discover actors anymore. That used to be the thing. It used to be that they would make the stars, and they were proud of that. They would even put in their films introducing so-and-so. They don't do that anymore because now it's a reactive industry. They cast people that are going viral or have become famous or have momentum or big in whatever in social media. They're trying to react to attention and fame because they're always at this point trying to mitigate risk and try to figure out some formula how it works, which doesn't exist. It would be nice if they went back to making stars and doing it themselves. But that's not the reality because, let's be honest, they're run by, venture funds and money right now. That didn't used to be the case as much. And those people want to return and they want to mitigate risk. So it's run by different people now. That changes things. In this industry, in the next decade, there's going to be two types of actors. There's going to be the actor that's waiting for his auditions and hoping for something great. And then there's the actor that's going to create something great and show them why they need to hire him more. If you want to know how to build that momentum, how to build an audience, make your short film, make your first film. I just, directed my first film a couple months ago. Then, obviously subscribe, check out some of the other videos where I talk more about these things and about filmmaking, about making my film, raising money, all those things. And of course, in the comments, put down what you want to see because I want to make stuff that you guys want to see. So let me know and I'll see you guys next week.